Well, good morning. Wake up with JP and Dr. B. Today we are talking family health, and I'll tell you, I'm super excited. We are talking men's health specifically because we are in No Shave November, which happens to also be Men's Health Month. And so on with us today live, Dr. Norm Clothier. Say hello, Dr. Clothier.
Good morning.
Dr. Clothier is with Richardson Family Practice, correct?
Well, Family Healthcare Associates at the Richardson location.
And so if you're sick or dying, which you are, go see Dr. Clothier because we're all dying. Go see Dr. Clothier. Yes, right. You can confirm that. It's terrible how organic matter does that. It begins and it ends quickly. And then we got Dr. B in studio, of course, as always.
Good morning.
And he is sporting the No Shave November.
That's right.
Looking very fancy in his no shave.
Working on it.
Yes, of course, Dr. Clothier and I.
Outside last night.
We all thought about sleeping outside because we had a production meeting at 5 this morning, so I had to be on the road by 4:30. Oh my God, very tired. Started drinking coffee. Didn't drink coffee before, but I do now. But today we're going to talk about men's health. We're going to talk about the prostate.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're going to talk about, if we get to it, heart issues.
Heart risk and a little bit about testosterone and whatever we can get to.
This is going to be a two-part series on men's health, again, because November is Men's Health Month. And so we're going on in about 30 seconds. You'll be able to catch us live here on YouTube, or you can catch us at 6:20 a.m. or www.jpanddrb.com. Go to the bottom, hit listen live. You can also catch our YouTube feed from there as well. And then at 6:30, Brian Beck is going to join me again, and we're going to talk about what am I eating to lose all this weight, and do you have to exercise to lose weight? And we're going to talk about that and discover that at 6:30. Yes, sir. Stand by.
Okay. And I'll have to leave at 6:30, so I'll head out when I'll have to leave at 6:30, so yeah. I'll head out when my segment's done there.
Well, I'll tell you what, good morning, Dallas-Fort Worth. Wake up with JP and Dr. B as we are talking all of your family needs and hopes and prayers and how to get things back on track for yourself. Of course, it is Monday, and so in studio with us is Dr. Norm Clothier. You can always find us, of course, on YouTube at JP and Dr. B. We have our own channel. You can search us either by all or by channel on YouTube. You can also find us on our website at jpanddrb.com. Simply go to our website, go to the bottom of the website. You'll see a button that says Listen Live. And under that, you'll see a button that says YouTube, and feel free to hit either one and be able to listen to us. We'll have our show, of course, posted on YouTube within 30 minutes after the show is over, so that way you can always go back and look at the archive, and you might want to do that. We've requested a lot. I posted yesterday what my weight was, and all of a sudden we had 405 people hit the like button and over 250 comments that people were going to be listening this morning. And so if you don't catch us this morning, go on YouTube. Our video is fixed for now anyways, and you will not find another Tuesday fast forward. I promise that. So I'd like to welcome to the studio Dr. Norm Clothier. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
And then, of course, Dr. B, good morning.
Good morning, Judge. It's good to be here this morning, bright and early.
Bright and early. You know, we're going to have to put a poll up. You and I are going to have to do the old-fashioned Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam.
Well, let's do Good Morning Dallas first. All right.
We can. Well,
Dallas-Fort Worth, and yes,
but of course, you know, Good Morning Vietnam, I say, Dr. B, only because Veterans Day is around the corner.
It is around the corner.
And the Marine Corps birthday is on November the 10th.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, that's why, of course, I think of that. But we're talking men's health this morning, and then at 6:30, we're going to talk about how it is it that old JP has lost 164 pounds. What's the secret? Oh, my goodness, there must be a new diet plan out there. And does exercise help us lose weight? But right now, we're going to talk prostates, and we're going to talk, hopefully, if we get to the subject, some heart issues that men could have if they're not careful.
Sure, men's health is a big issue, and of course, being Men's Health Month, I think everybody's talking about more. Probably nothing that we could talk about this morning would be more controversial than what to do about the prostate. Every male has a prostate unless it is surgically removed or some other treatment done to chemically remove it basically from the body. And I get questions all the time about screening the prostate. And the most common I tend to hear usually is from a male who's maybe about 30 or 40, and they'll say, well, my grandfather's been diagnosed with prostate cancer, so I need to be screened. The challenge we have is that the current consensus is that there's actually no good screening whatsoever for the prostate. And I know that kind of comes as a shock to people because you've been hearing about get screened and let's look at prostate cancer and we got to pay attention to it. The problem is there is no consensus right now as to how to screen for that.
So the old-fashioned way,
Right.
you know, which is not good. That's
No.
the rubber glove moment.
That's right. We'll refer to it as the digital rectal exam, and for old, listeners old enough to have experienced one, you'll know what I mean. The challenge with that, there's actually no study in existence that shows that any outcome in prostate health based on the digital rectal exam. And at this point, all medical groups, and I would just mention a couple of them, big groups, the American Medical Association, the American Urological Association, and the American Academy of Family Physicians, none recommend the digital rectal examination as a screening test because the truth is you can only feel about 10% of the prostate under perfect conditions. That leaves 90% to wonder about, and that doesn't really tell you anything about the health.
So go ahead, doctor.
Is the best way to screen now than the PSA?
That's a great question. If we talk about screening, I would tend to say that's a very sound possibly. And that the reason for that is looking at the PSA, which has been in existence now for about 40 years, give or take, there is no evidence really that screening actually changes the outcomes of prostate cancer. And I know, again, this is probably causing a lot of people to doubt what I'm saying or to feel alarmed. I actually brought a copy with me of the most recent American Family Physician journal, which was dated October 15th of 15. You can actually look that up online at aafp.org/AFP for American Family Physician. And there's a very good review article. There basically are 5 articles or 5 studies, excuse me, that have gone over hundreds of thousands of men and their experience with prostate cancer. And the conclusion is that trying to screen the prostate might save, and I want to emphasize might save 1 life in 1,000 men from prostate cancer. And the reason for that is that most men actually who develop a prostate cancer will die with the prostate cancer, but not from the prostate cancer.
That's what I've always heard, that prostate cancer probably won't kill you.
Right.
But and that most people, is it true that most men will get prostate cancer at some point?
I think it's hard to say most. I would say many. Of interest, most men who are diagnosed, and I wouldn't say most because the largest cause of death is still heart disease, and a lot of men, frankly, don't live long enough probably to get it. Virtually every male will get prostate enlargement. Now, that's different than prostate cancer. And the growth of the cancer in the prostate, often though stays within the prostate, only causes some growth of the prostate and does not spread outside the prostate and cause death.
Well, and Dr. Clothier, what's the doom and gloom report on that? I mean, are we all dying? I mean, is it going to kill us? I mean, I know, when we start, we have an end. I mean, but is prostate going to kill us now?
No. Honestly, the evidence for death from the prostate from a cancer standpoint is very low. Of interest, some of these studies that they reviewed with hundreds of thousands of men actually showed that there is a higher death rate from treatment of the prostate cancer than from prostate cancer. About 3% of men who undergo a biopsy of the prostate may end up in the hospital from complications like infection or pain or bleeding, which is always, a possibility anytime you enter into tissue. And then several of those men may not actually end up with a diagnosis for sure, because if you don't catch the small part of the prostate that has that prostate cancer, you may not know. Then if you undergo a treatment like radiation or thermoablation or a radical prostatectomy, which is removing the prostate, you have a very high risk of incontinence and impotence. It's about a 50% chance. And that quality of life wise, I think a lot of men would do far better to just maybe or maybe even not know that they have something in their prostate that will not harm them.
So you read a lot and hear a lot, or at least I have, about supplements that somebody can take to supposedly help the prostate. Sure. Are those good or bad? Or
I think the only proven one at this point is saw palmetto, which is an extract from the saw palm or saw palmetto tree. which has been used for centuries to shrink the prostate, cause decrease in urinary symptoms like urinary retention and getting up to go to the bathroom overnight, for instance. And that one has been shown to help the benign enlargement of the prostate. Whether it affects prostate cancer or not, there's really not particular evidence.
So again, what you're looking at in the saw palmetto is just the health benefit maybe of reducing it, not
of reducing the
cancer.
size. Yeah, every male will have enlargement, and the enlargement roughly reflects the age. So in other words, at age 50, about 50% of men have some enlargement of the prostate. At age 70, about 70% of men have some enlargement. And it becomes a lifestyle issue. You know, we've all had the experience if you're at church or a movie or a sporting event. The older men are in the bathroom longer, going to the bathroom, because it's a little harder to go because of the prostate enlargement. And saw palmetto, I do find, helps many men with that symptom. And there are some prescriptions as well. But that's not a prostate cancer issue.
Now, what can men do from a health perspective to try and prevent prostate cancer if it's preventable?
Sure, and that's a great question. At this point, the best advice I would have would be good lifestyle in general, good nutrition, just healthy living, exercise, weight reduction actually is a big one. The two biggest actually are probably, if you're a smoker, you should quit. If you're not, don't start, because tobacco has influence on prostate cancer too. And then the other is actually alcohol. Excess alcohol intake has been shown to be associated with prostate cancer. And so, you know, basically reduction to a fair level of alcohol, no tobacco, good nutrition, good health in general and exercise, a good active lifestyle are really your best friends.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting ready to hit to a break. So before we go to that break, I just want to mention we are here with On Point with JP and Dr. B. We have our Monday Family Health segment going on with Dr. Norm Clothier and Dr. B and I. And we're talking men's health this month because it is Men's Health Month. And we're talking prostate today. And hopefully we'll get to the chest cavity and talk a little heart as well. But tune in because we're really diving into the details of how you might be able to help yourself either prolong prostate cancer where it doesn't come as such an early age maybe, but maybe even be able to avoid it altogether. So stay tuned as we come back from this break. We're going to continue to talk men's health, the prostate, and then hopefully jump into some health issues with your heart. And then at 6:32, and I say that because that's when we come back from our break, Brian Beck will be on the phone with us, and we will be talking about how has JP lost a full-size man. So stay tuned with us as we come back and we discuss my dietary assistance to help lose weight and men's prostate. Action, take us away. All right, we actually went to break a little early today, about 15 seconds.
Okay.
So that's not a bad thing.
Not a bad
Right.
thing.
So that gives us a little more time on the backside.
Yeah,
So
that's a fair
that's a good
point.
deal.
So,
Um,
yeah, we'll, if you want, we can talk a little more about what the recommendation is for the prostate, because basically I have the breakdown here, but essentially the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force says don't screen the prostate. And I always want to mention, most of the patients I see are not comfortable with that. You know, that's the big deal, is that they've always heard, you know, it's kind of like there's, just a couple of weeks ago, something came out about mammograms for women that recommended once a year from 55 to 64, and that's basically it. Maybe every other year otherwise. And boy, I tell you, women are up in arms about that because you've always heard every year or else.
Right.
And it's hard to go with evidence-based stuff, but that's where we are. And you know, it is a challenge.
But I think most men are very happy to hear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I do want to mention, too, the benefits of not having to do the digital exam, and I'll mention that here in a minute, too. But that's true. I think that's a big deal. And let me tell you, doctors are happy about
Yeah,
that.
guaranteed.
sure.
There's one right here that's real happy about that.
I'm sure.
Guaranteed.
When we come back from the break, we're going to lead right into Lori's The Choice As Always Is Yours. That'll be
Okay.
about a minute and 12 seconds, then we'll jump right back in.
Okay.
All right, do you have Lori's thing prompted and ready to go? Thank you. Right, well, I'm going to let them know that it's been taped because in Phoenix it's like 4 in the morning. Yeah.
What happened to Mustang?
Got in a car accident this morning.
Oh, goodness, really?
Yeah, and so,
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, she's fine.
Thankfully.
She tried to dodge a dog,
Yeah.
which she did. The dog's fine. But she hit the right side of the guardrail on the bridge and the left side.